Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live show today, hosted by the Eden Alternative. My name is Chrissy Angevine, a community builder at the Eden Alternative, and I'm telling you, I am doing my happy dance today. On our live show, I'm so grateful, and I'm filled with a lot of joy that we have the Crossings, which is part of the Methodist retirement communities, and they're from League City, Texas. And the title of our show today is Finding the Joy in the Journey. All right, that's why I'm doing my happy dance. And let me tell you, I'm kind of talking about you, and you're right here. But the Crossings, I mean, I got to know them. It's been probably less than a year that they've come onto our official Eden registry and membership. So they're an official Eden registry member. And when I hear from them and I talk to them, that's why I asked them to do this live show. I get filled with joy. I get happy hearing everything they are doing, how they work with the people they support. So, again, grateful for our audience to be here. Make sure you're asking any questions throughout the show. And I will turn it over to Greg to start us off with introductions.
Yeah, hey, I'm Greg Rossi. I'm the executive director at the Crossings. And Chris, thank you so much for hosting this.
I'm Michael Cummings. I'm the healthcare administrator here at the Crossings. Thank you.
And my name is Jeff Evenmarg, and I'm a director of physical plant. Probably a little bit of an unusual addition to a presentation like this, but I've been here since before the campus opened. They brought me in to start it all up, and so I was sort of tricked or duped into this long-term care thing, but I'm still here, and we have some great things to share with you today.
I'm Natalie Schutz, the Director of Nursing.
And I'm Julie Crowell, the Lifestyle Director.
Great, 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 great. So, again, I can't thank you enough for being here. Do we want to move into a little bit about let's talk about the Crossings a little bit. Greg, do you want to give us a little background or what things are about there at the Crossings?
Yeah, absolutely. We are a 5-star continuing care retirement community. Again, like you said, in Lake City, Texas, a member of the Methodist Retirement Communities Organization. We are a faith-based 501c3 nonprofit, and we are just, so excited to be part of this. We've really enjoyed the journey with the Eden Alternative so far. We are a community of 224 apartments, 116 independent living, 36 assisted living, 48 in our healthcare halls, 24 in the memory care area. And currently we're at 93% occupancy. We have done an amazing job of keeping our residents safe through the entire pandemic. We might talk about that a little while, but I'm going to hand it over to Michael to kind of get us going.
Thank you, Greg. The Eden Alternative has helped us a great deal this past year, and I've really connected up with the domains of well-being. And part of the domains of well-being is joy. And how do we get to joy? The joy in the journey is very important to us. I feel like joy is the pinnacle of the domains of well-being. You need your foundational pieces. You need to, when people come in, to feel safe, to feel connected and identified when they first move into our community, and from there building up to our people being able to feel growth and identity and meaning in their lives and autonomy. And for all of those things to come together, you reach out for joy. And if we can visualize it or see the joy that people feel in many of the things that we have going on here, whether it's in our skilled nursing environment, whether it's in assisted living or memory, and especially in our independent living, if we can tap into our elders in such a way that they feel enough love and trust for us that they can actually get to joy, that is what we're always striving for. As a 5-star community, we want to be able to make our constituents, our families, residents, whoever it may be, feel that love, and hopefully we get to a joyful experience with each of them.
Michael, I love how you explain that, because a lot of times when we talk about these domains of well-being, we do kind of talk about them that they're kind of stacked. Like, so I have to know my identity and I want to feel secure before I can move on to anything else, right? And then we talk about meaning, purpose, growth, but the top one is joy. And it is kind of like that Maslow's hierarchy, that you have to have all these other things in place until you could really experience joy, which I think is a deeper thing than happiness. You know what I mean? So that was really cool the way you explained it with the domains of well-being. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, hey, Natalie, where's Natalie? Hi, Natalie. So I hear you have a story for us, something about a wedding.
I do. So going along with Joy, here at the Crossings, we are a very close-knit community. We know a lot about each other with our elders and everything. And we have a resident in long-term care whose granddaughter was getting married in Fredericksburg, Texas, which is a little ways from here. And so it's actually quite a ways from here. And a few of our staff members got word of this and they were like, we have got to make this happen. How can we do this? And so Quisha, our therapy director, and Jen, our assistant director of nursing, decided, okay, we're doing this. We're going to get her to her granddaughter's wedding. So on the day of, one of our amazing CNAs, who is quite close to this elder, came up on her day off, got her ready, got her packed. And Jen and Quisha got the rental car. They met the elder up here, got her loaded into the car. That's them. And so they drove the resident to Fredericksburg the morning of, and she was so excited that she was able to be there. That's unheard of. And so we were so excited to do that for her. Jen and Quisha stayed with her at the wedding and for the pictures and everything. And then they left to come back to League City. It was a long day. And when they got back to the Crossings at 1 a.m. that night, one of our physical therapists came from home, helped them. She was very tired. So it took 3 of them to help her get out of the car and get her back to her room and get settled and everything. And so she was so appreciative, and it was a wonderful experience for her. And we pretty much decided everybody slept really well that night.
I would imagine. You know, there's things that pop out of that story for me for sure. But what I'm really hearing is that staff empowerment, but also the willingness of staff, right? 1 a.m., I'm a PT, physical therapist. I'm going to come back at 1 a.m. to my job. You know what I mean? You've built something there. And that's what I hear from you every time I've talked to you. Mm-hmm. So excellent. Thanks, Natalie. So let me see. I guess, Julie, you're up next. You know, when we were chatting, you were telling me about this really cool, it's a powerful story about a project that the elders and residents who live at the Crossings were working on. So yeah, fill us in on that.
So we had a unique opportunity. Our vice president of marketing, her mother is a Dress a Girl ambassador. She's an ambassador for a Dress a Girl ministry, and they sew dresses for little girls in third world countries. And she came on a MRC, Methodist Retirement Community, for introducing our community to this ministry, and really touched the hearts and lives of our residents here. And they have taken it upon themselves since June of this year. They've sewed over 50 dresses, and they meet weekly to sort buttons, tape, measure, iron, whatever they can do. So even the ones who may not be physically able to sew or cannot no longer sew can still participate, or maybe you don't know how to sew, and meet once a month to get together and sew and socialize. And we're hoping to send these off. One of our other communities has taken off with this project, hoping to send them off before Christmas with our vice president of marketing's mom. She has a plan for them. But as you can see, it just brings so much joy to their lives to know that they're working on something bigger than themselves, something outside our community, and to pass that along. Joy and girls' face, those dresses, priceless. So we're really excited. And I have to brag, so far to this day, everything, all the dresses that we have made, all the materials have been on 100% donation. So not only do they show their support through working on this ministry, had plenty donate to them as well.
I think you're muted, Chris.
Got me on the old mute. There we go. Yes, and that's just so much about meaning and purpose, and I love the donation parts too. So thank you, Julie. Thank you.
And I have to apologize. My office is on this main drag, and I have a window, and every time they have to poke their head and wave. So looking off, that's why.
Yeah, distracting you for sure. Yep. So thanks, Julie, for that story. So hey, Jeff, you're up. So at the Eden Alternative, right, we really talk a lot, like I said, about purpose and meaning. Julie just told that story about that. And it's really purpose and meaning for anybody, no matter what their age or ability is. So I know you have, and you're going to share with us some happenings about empowering the residents and to do what they feel is important, right? So what do you got, Jeff?
So actually, Chris, the last time we met for this meeting when we were putting it together, you said something that was really has got me thinking for the however long it's been. I guess it's been an entire week.
Yeah.
But this idea that to empower somebody, we talk about it all the time, but really to empower somebody that alludes to the fact that their power previously has been taken away. And I've never really thought about that before, but if you put yourself in the place of these individuals here, I think especially when they first come to a community like this, I think even in independent living to a certain degree, people feel sort of stripped of their power. By this time, a lot of them, they're having family members help them do things. They may be having them help financially. They're definitely helping them physically, a lot of them. And I think what happens is it erodes their self-confidence to some degree. And that is what disallows them to, one of the things that disallows them to think that they still have meaning and purpose in their life. So it's kind of interesting. One thing we've done here, and I think the other thing to say about this quickly is that these things that happen, and for us here, this has been a process. These things don't happen overnight. So we have a fantastic grounds committee now. So this grounds committee the past year decided to germinate their own seeds for trees. They found a tree in the neighborhood, asked the owner of the tree if they could get some seeds from that tree. They germinated those seeds. They've helped plant those trees around the campus, and and this is going on. The behind the scenes is it took, I don't know, Julie, you tell me, it was 3 years of having the grounds committee meeting where every time I go and meet with them and challenge them with some different kinds of opportunities. We could do this, and it was, you could do this, or you could do this, or you could do this, and it was always came back, yeah, Jeff, we love that idea. When are you going to start? And so, right, exactly, how it goes. And so by reluctantly holding back, finally they realized that taking some small steps, deciding what kind of flowers they wanted in some of the planters around. And I think once they figured out that we were going to listen to them and support them in the decisions that they were making, once that train leaves the station, it can be kind of hard to get it back, which is kind of where we are now. And I say that just sort of half-heartedly because we love them, but it's amazing how quickly people will become reinvigorated as they understand that they do have some power and people are still listening to them and they can still make some of their own decisions, and they can rally their friends and neighbors to come and participate in these things.
That's great. I love what you said about that. Once the train leaves the station, that's great, because you got to be on board, or you got to be fueling that train all the time, because these ideas are going to flourish from people once they realize, like, my voice is being heard. Holy moly, right? That's huge. So thank you, Jeff. We'll hear from you in a little bit too. So all right, fabulous. Where are we at? Okay, back to Natalie. Hey, Natalie. So so you did something with the windows during COVID for window visits. Do you want me to pop the video up first, or what do you want me to do?
Well, I was just going to say, we realized at the beginning of the pandemic, first off, that our windows look exactly the same from the outside. You can't tell what room you're looking at. And so we realized that really quick. And so it was like, okay, if we can't decipher the room numbers, we know the family members cannot decipher the room numbers. So we came up with a way to distinguish what the rooms were. And we have a video.
And it's the wrong video, right? Technology.
Well, that's okay, and I'll fill in right here a little bit because,
Right.
you know, in a campus, oh, there she is, so I'll finish after.
Well, we got the picture.
We got the picture. All right.
Got a
So-
picture back up.
And my nostrils are flared. Why are they flared?
Because we were taking a picture of you.
You look beautiful.
But, you know, in a campus like this, you have to be HIPAA compliant, right? Everybody hears about HIPAA all the time. And if you don't know what HIPAA is and you're looking at this video, you're about to. So, you know, so we don't want to put, and for security reasons, you don't want to put room numbers on the outside of windows where, you know, someone with malicious intent, you know, could possibly recognize a person from the outside. And so the idea came up with putting those different flowers, and nobody knows who's in that room until somebody, the family member, you know, until the resident or the guest shares with them what room that they're in. And then they can go to that outside window for window visits and recognize it by the floral motif. There you go.
Give it to Jeff.
Hey, Chris, can I just say something real quick? It's interesting with all these stories that we've been talking about. When all of a sudden you kind of said, hey, we need stories, you know, we couldn't remember any of these stories because we're so focused on next week and next month. The story that Jeff told about those plants and everything, how it came out is that Julie and I were at a council of advisor meeting, and our senior vice president, Amy Horton, was there. And she says, where did those beautiful yellow plants come from? Because now they're all 5 and 6 feet tall. Yeah. And we told this story, and she just kind of looked at me and she goes, why haven't you shared that? And it's like, well, we're going forward. So this has been kind of good for us also to go back and see the journey and see what we're doing, because we're just always so focused on what we're going to do next.
Yep. And that's a good reminder for anybody watching as well. If you're an organization or even if you're an individual, take a minute and stop and recognize the goodness, because sometimes we're just always on to the next thing or whatever. So that's a great lesson to learn. I want to try the video one more time just because. Let's see if it works. What are you seeing? Are you seeing the video?
I don't.
Okay. Well, we're going to give that up, but we had a lovely picture. Thank you, Natalie. We tried with the video. Anything else you want to say about the window visits, or are you?
No, I think.
No. Okay. Great. Julie, I think when we were talking again, you were talking about something about high tea. How did that come about?
The high tea. Yes. Yeah. I heard
not IT. High tea.
All my technology problems. I'm like, I don't know where high tea. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, our high tea. So when I started, I've been here 3.5 years, and when I started, I inherited an activity committee who are wonderful. And as Jeff mentioned, it was a committee at first that was kind of not so involved. It was more I come to the meeting and tell them what we're doing, and we've slowly involved to they just tell me what they want, and my job is to find how it fits into everything else that we have going on here. Mm-hmm. So the men had a men's event previously, and the women really wanted to have a high tea. So walk into Greg's office, I say, hey, they want to have a tea. He goes, that sounds fun. I said, okay, let's have a tea party. And the next thing you know, we have a hat making craft day, and we all make our hats to wear to the tea party. And all the residents donated their china if they wanted to help provide the teapots and the teacups and the tea saucers for our tea party. And all the ladies get together and come down dressed up, and it's a very fun event. And we have it annually now in May, and even our other neighborhoods, we have 5 neighborhoods, as Greg mentioned, and even our other neighborhoods participate in that event now. So it's really grown over the years. It's fun. So fun.
Right. And totally came from the people that live there.
Yes, I mean, it really has evolved. Like I said, we have activity committees in all of our neighborhoods now. All of our activities are resident centered and resident driven, and they pretty much tell us what they want, and our job is to make a way to make that happen reasonably, right? Reasonably.
Reasonably, yeah. And your activity committees, the elders are on that committee.
Yes, so
right? That's not staff.
no, that is
Yeah.
I'm the coordinator, lifestyle person is the only staff member that goes to those meetings. It's residents that come, the elders come, they tell us what they want to do, where they want to do it, or what their vision is. Pre-COVID, we did a lot of outings, bus trips, out to eat. They pick where we go. We want to go to the museum and see the Van Gogh exhibit, so we go to the museum if that's what they want to do. And that picture that just popped up, that was Michael and Delandria Epps, our assisted living director, and that was during COVID. We had that giant bus to do a joy ride. Isn't that a good name? Michael, do you want to talk about that since you were a part of that?
Now that I'm unmuted, yeah, it gave us the opportunity to take people out of the environments for a while and explore around. We did travel through the actually Christmas lights, and we had other bus trips where they go down to Galveston, and it was really a difficult time. The journey to joy during that time was very trying, and we undertook had a great experience for our folks in our healthcare areas. So yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah. And Michael, you did that. And remind me of your title again.
I'm the healthcare administrator.
Yeah, you're the healthcare administrator, and here you are going on joyrides. Okay.
You bet.
Greg, remind me of your title.
I'm the executive director here.
You are. And let me tell you, I'm just going to pipe in here and tell you a little story about Greg Rossi. So before anybody joins the Eden Registry, I'm overjoyed to be the person that brings people onto our official Eden Registry. So they have to do things. They got to do pictures, and you have to fill out our Milestone 1 tool and other things that the Crossings did. But what I do on my end is I kind of stalk them a little bit, right? Just to find out what kind of community they are. And a Facebook page is a great way to do that. So I go on the Crossings Facebook page, and I keep seeing this man, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that lifestyle or the lifestyle enrichment or activity person, he's everywhere. Everything that's going on, this activities guy, I got to give him props, whoever he is, right? Is what I'm thinking. And then I get on the call, and you know who it was? It was Greg. You're right. The executive director, the big guy, is involved in everything. And that blew my mind, Greg, when I realized that who I thought was the activity director is actually the big wig.
We have fun, so that's very kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a great story for me. It just really led me into knowing where your heart is there. And we say wise leadership is so important. If you don't have it, you're stuck in the water. But yeah, very impressive. Okay, I'll stop bragging on you there, Greg. So continuing on with creative ideas through COVID, Jeff, you have something to share with us about the visitation station. Do you want me to try to give the video a go first, or do you want to talk about it?
Go for it.
All right, we're gonna give this one the old college try. Let's see.
And I'll just start talking, and I'll stop if it plays. Let's see if it plays.
Visit with Jeff, and he'll be our family member today. We really have had a lot of positive feedback, and I think that's the best part of my part in this is all the positive feedback that I've been able to hear from the residents and their families, just getting to connect with each other in the visitation station. So we're very thankful for that. So come with us. We're going right up. Come on. We have air conditioning on both sides to keep us nice and cool when we have the warm Texas fall days. We have the filtration systems that helps purify the air. hand sanitizer, of course, and our awesome intercom system that helps us communicate easily with our loved ones on the other side.
Yeah, it's very effective, and people can talk at their normal volume levels, and people can easily hear on either side of the left-hand window. It is completely sealed. Two sides are completely separate. As Julie mentioned, with completely separate air conditioning, heating, and air filtration units. So it makes it a completely 100% safe environment. We should mention also that we bring people out at different times. So we first will have the residents come out and get ready, and then the family members are allowed to enter the trailer so that they don't even.
Yeah, you can probably cut that, Chris. That's fine.
Right.
People can get the idea, and I sound like I'm swallowing my tongue or something on the other side of there. When you're in the trailer, it did better than suffice. That trailer provided an environment that changed people's days and weeks. The trailer was loaned to us by a resident family member. So the son of one of our residents who's in memory support got with us and said, I have this idea. He works for NASA. I have this idea. What do you think about this? Da, 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 da. And I said, it's great. So they got this trailer. They started some work on it. They brought it over, and we 5-starred it. And then, the idea there is that our resident can sit on one side and the family members can be on the other side, as many as they want. And I mean, several times over the course of that, you could actually, I forget one day, and there was a family there, and I don't know even who all the people were, but there was 10 or 12 people. I mean, more than could fit in the other side of that trailer. But the whole idea was it allowed, by keeping the air separate, keeping the window in place, it allowed a measure of safety for the visitations that were happening during that time. And I mean, it literally changed people's lives, because by that time, people had been being sequestered for months. And so to have that, be able to set that up, Julie's team organized the visitations and so forth, time slots, because there was that many. So we had to do it like that. But it was just, it worked out really, really well.
And we did get it fully certified by the state, and had to go through all the paperwork and things of that nature that made it really help. And knowing that we had the filtration system on both sides was very effective on getting it passed, because we had to go through all the steps. They came out and surveyed it, and so yeah, it was a great thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking of. Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
No, I was just going to say is that we actually won an award. Leading Age Texas awarded us the Innovation of Care and Service for our trailer there.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was really neat because at that time, Natalie, Michael, and their team was coordinating the essential visitors inside. They could designate 1 or 2 people, Natalie.
1 and 1.
2 people that could come in to the building to actually visit their loved one. And this provided an opportunity, for the grandkids, the great grandkids, to see those great grandkids come and be able to see their loved one. Really was the highlight of the day.
Yeah, because we had folks that great grandbabies were born that they never saw and things like that. So it was a good way they couldn't touch them, of course, but they were able to see them through the glass. So,
and we were ready for an outbreak, because if anything happened inside, which God bless, we did not have, we had the visitation station ready to go. So.
Yeah, and I keep thinking, I was going to say deep in the heart, that was deep in the heart of COVID. And now it's running through my head, deep in the heart of Texas. Thank you.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, that was really, this isn't like on the tail end.
No.
This popped
This
up.
was-
Oh, no.
Yeah.
In the heart of it.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So that was wonderful. Great. Thank you, Jeff. Let's see. Over to Michael. I'm going to go back to Michael. So we were chatting about the idea of inclusion across your whole community. You want to talk a little bit about what that looks like?
Yes, and as the healthcare administrator, and especially when we're talking about joy and we're talking about eliminating loneliness, helplessness, and boredom, we want our elders to be connected. And especially when we're going into this time of the year, joy is all about us. We've, the joy that's Christ's birth is coming at Christmas time, and Thanksgiving is coming. We just celebrated a huge Halloween. And, we have to be intentional with our connection in our areas, in our different neighborhoods, to make sure that everybody is feeling connected and has the opportunity to, feel our love, feel the compassion. And so we do, and I think, Greg, you point out that people feel the spirit. People feel, there's laughter everywhere, and we're, very much engaged with each of our areas and trying to have different events in each neighborhood together. And I think our community has really developed into a community for all of us, for all the neighborhoods. There's great, meaningful connection for our residents. So, Julie, I know you've got plenty of things, we have bingo that would make a bingo parlor, blush, because it's exciting stuff.
All right, wait, before we get into bingo, I want to pull up the comment that we have in our comment box. It's just kind of supporting you, but Meredith Martin talks about your trailer. And she says, let's see what she says. If that trailer, oh, there it is. If that trailer could tell a story, what a gift to bring families back together after so much separation. So yeah, you manage if that trailer could just talk about all the wonderful connections and conversations. So thank you, Meredith, for that point. All right.
And Michael, I was just going to say, Michael mentioned laughter in the building. I actually made a comment before this live video to my girls out here, like, hey, my door will be shut, but please do not laugh too loud because I'm not going to be on mute the whole time. So it's a good problem to have.
Sure is. Yeah, I love it. So, okay, we mentioned bingo. So I think Greg and Julie, what do you do? You're going to talk a little bit about that?
I'll let Greg do his take on bingo.
Oh no, it's bingo, and again, we used to do bingo in all the different areas, and then bringing them all together. Julie and her team does a great job, and so at the end, they'd win bingo, and then it was always this big jam up of people trying to get out, and here's a candy bar, or whatever they wanted. And so I don't know whose idea it was, probably Julie's. They said, hey, we're going to give bingo bucks, and so that, so we're playing bingo, and hey, this game's for $50, this game's for $100, this game's for $500, and so they get all these bingo bucks. Well, after a number of weeks, we said, okay, after today's bingo, we're going to then have an auction. And so Julie just kind of stood up there like an auctioneer going, all right, here's a coffee mug with some hot chocolate, bidding starts at $35, and it kind of started slow. And I think we're all looking at it going, oh, this is not going the way we want. And they just got into it. Oh my gosh, we were laughing so hard because, there's one resident that kept, elder that kept going, it's $35. I'll bid 36, it's $40. I'll bid 41, and then we had some in the back saying 200. I want it for 200. Like where did that come from? And it was hysterical. I mean, it was fun, and that's in the middle of the day. And it was interesting to look around and to see how many of my teammates, I guess, were there. We were all just having so much fun and helping them. And, it's fun. A lot of laughter that day. And I was just going to say, when you've got a lot of laughter, you've got a healthy building, you've got a healthy community. And, we laugh a lot. We laugh a lot with each other. We laugh a lot with our residents. And I just love that fact.
Mm-hmm.
Chris mentioned it offhandedly. She probably didn't even really realize it. But when we have an activity at our campus, which, by the way, is every cotton picking day, okay, we have more activities than you can believe. But if you were to walk in, to any one of those activities, you're not going to just see the activity director and residents. You're going to see other staff at all of those activities. And as Greg mentioned, you talk about this bingo or a chapel service. It doesn't matter what it is. You're going to see people there from nursing. You're going to see people there from executive staff. You're going to see people there from housekeeping. You're going to see people there from maintenance. And it's not just schlepping the residents back and forth either. It's making sure that they have what they need and participating in the interactions with the residents. And that is a huge part, I think, of what makes this go, and what makes the activities great is that people, employees, staff, as well as residents, have the freedom to come and interact with one another as they have time available and the freedom to do that.
So I'm going to brag on Jeff's team for a second. Exactly what he was just saying. We had a All Saints Remembrance service yesterday, community-wide. And after the service, we're all, mingling and getting people back to whatever was next. And one of our amazing housekeepers was talking to one of the gentlemen I had just been talking with. And I walked by and was talking to someone else. And the next thing I know, just kind of sitting there. I'm like, well, where did she go? And I look around the corner, and she had gone around the corner to clean his glasses for him out of nowhere. He didn't ask. She offered to clean his glasses, and I heard her give them back to him. And he was, oh, that's so much better. Thank you so much. And that is just a normal occurrence at the crossings from all staff and team members here.
Yeah. And our little next slide here, but we talk about outcomes, and this is something that is very different in this environment than it is in other places. I mentioned when we chatted a week ago, outcomes in business, we do that very differently. So when we plan for outcomes in business, okay, if we're making widgets, we sit around and talk about, how fast I need to speed up the conveyor belts to make another 2 widgets, an hour or whatever it is. And we calculate that out, and we can plan for the extra 2 widgets is, another 75 cents, you see, and it goes like that.
Yes, my husband's a mechanical engineer. It's all about cycle time. Cycle time.
Exactly it. But in this kind of community, and I know there are healthcare, and I'm going to use the F word, healthcare facilities that do this, because that's how their mindset is, but that's not how we do that at our community. Julie and her teams, they plan the event, right? We plan the event, but we don't really plan the outcome. So a lot of these things that happen are the spontaneous outcomes of the event, right? So, and just like she talked about the tea and the hats, they probably would have made hats if they hadn't decided to do the tea, right? So, and now everybody has a new hat to wear to that kind of function. And so it is with these activities. And sometimes, I'm sure they don't always fly. Sometimes we think, oh, well, we probably won't do that again. What did we have? We had to do it differently. Remember the wine and painting, or whatever the heck that was called? What was that called, Julie?
Paint and sip.
Paint and sip. If you're gonna do paint and sip in healthcare, you got to have a lot of drop claws. That's all I'm gonna tell you. So we do things like that. But then even in a thing like that, the outcomes are amazing. We have original artwork that's generated by residents and staff, and you really can't make that stuff up. And honestly, you really can't plan for it. You can plan to it, you just can't plan, for it.
Well, and that's one of, and we could go on all day, but Manny's and mimosas that we do, FOMosas, I should qualify that, huh, Natalie? But you can walk down there when we're doing Manny's and mimosas, and who's helping do manicures? Natalie and Jen, our assistant director of nursing, and Lisa, our MDS coordinator. I mean, like Jeff said, whoever housekeeping working back there that day, Cheyenne, whoever it is, you're going to see those faces right there along with our elders meeting. So it's not just lifestyle, it's the whole building.
And they actually tell me I paint nails really well.
Oh, yes.
So
Side-
win.
Second
Yes.
career.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Hang on to that. Yeah. So at the Eden Alternative, what I'm hearing so much of is we talk about being versus doing. When you're always doing too, you're not being. And I know one time I was going to hire somebody and she told me she had gotten written up because she sits too much with the elders. And I said, "You're hired. You are hired," right? That's what she was getting written up for, because she was spending too much time with the people she supported. So this again is exactly what you guys are doing. That's why you're here today. Thank you so much for sharing and continuing on. Natalie, do you want to talk about a stomping clap?
So we have
Are we or no?
we have a volunteer here named Debbie Jackson. She actually won the Leading Age Volunteer of the Year this past year.
Wow.
Yeah, for Texas. She's amazing at what she does. She involves residents and elders that you would never expect would come out. She just has a way with them. And when she's getting them ready and okay, let's go, she's very hyped up, which they love, and they always ask for her. She's one of the ones like, hey, where's Debbie? She does this thing whenever like they're ready to go and she gets excited. She like does this stomp, all this feet and arm motions that you just know it's her. I don't even have to see her and I can hear it. And I'm like, oh, there's Debbie. She's got people ready to go and they're headed off to bingo or headed off to activities. They adore her, and she has a way with them that is just, I've never seen anything like it. She's phenomenal.
And this is in a nursing environment. This
Right.
is for people that have their limitations. They have their difficulties. She leads their exercise classes. She leads a lot of different things and keeps them very much engaged, and which is wonderful. And and all of our lifestyles folks, as well as our aides, and everybody gets involved as much as possible, and including as they talk about, I love to get involved, Greg loves to get involved, Jeff, all of us do, but that's part of, we're all caregivers, and we're all as part of the community itself. We want to engage where at all possible, even in those difficult situations.
And I never hesitate. I was just thinking about this. I never hesitate to ask one of these people on the screen or down the halls. I never hesitate to ask a staff member to help me do something, because they're always willing, always.
Well, that's part of our culture,
Right.
And if you, and Greg should be the one to speak to this probably, but if you're not going to be that way, you're probably not going to stay here. Not because you're going to get fired, just because you're not going to enjoy this environment that's here. If you're not helpful and loving and caring and kind, this is not the place for you.
Yeah.
You might go to that place that's making widgets. I think you'll do better.
We talk about that a lot, Chris. You have to have a servant's heart here.
Right.
And, if you don't have a servant's heart, it shows quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And you hired to that too, I'm sure, to the best of your ability.
Yes.
Can I say something? I don't know how long we're going, but I wanted to make a couple of points. I think I wanted to, we haven't said very much about MRC. I wanted to talk about being part of a faith-based community. I think that's huge. And I know that, I shouldn't say I know, I don't know who watches these videos, but it might be for somebody that is interested in having a career change or making some kind of a move. But I can't imagine surviving in an environment like this, and what I mean is in long-term care, without it being a faith-based organization. So, I really wanted to plug that. We have the privilege of, we do prayer every morning in our staff meetings, our sit down, our sit down, stand up morning meetings. We have prayer every morning. And I believe, in my opinion, it's a part of our culture, and it's a part of what we do. And the last thing that I kind of wanted to share that we haven't talked about, and it seems odd to be talking about it when we're talking about joy, but this past year we instituted, and that sounds very high and mighty, doesn't it? But we instituted something called a celebration of life. And I believe this is Michael's idea. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it's Eden Alternative, but what the celebration of life is that when one of our residents passes away, once their family has been with them and the funeral home is ready to take them out of the building, all of the staff that are available line the halls, and we have a walk. And so as the gurney passes down the hallway, then staff fill in behind, and we all come to a pause in our entry there before they go out of the building. And as long as the family is in agreement, we will stop there. We will have a prayer. We will sing the first verse of Amazing Grace, and then offer a prayer of thanksgiving for being able to share in that individual's life and care for them, and for us to recognize what a privilege that is, and send the family and that former resident on their way with a surrounding of love and prayer. And, for me, that's a great definition of joy. And, we're not laughing. And I'm going to tell you, if you come to one of those, a celebration of life, there's a lot of tears. And it's not just the family, the staff. It's, there are tears flowing. But by doing that, we are celebrating that life. And that imbues a huge fulfillment of joy in the family members that that survive that resident. So yeah. I wanted to share that. I think that's really important. I think it's one of the most amazing things that we've done, and I would hope that somebody else in another community someplace would pick that practice up and do it. It's amazing. It will change your team. It will change your family's lives.
They go right out the front door. Their friends are there. That some of that. Sometimes staff is taking care of those folks for 2 or 3 years, and it's an opportunity for them to say goodbye. And that was something from the Eden Alternative that we picked up. So yeah, it's now a part of our culture, and yeah. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, a beautiful part of it also is when we meet with the family going to the front door, the acoustics in our lobby and foyer is, we have nice high ceilings, and it's just beautiful. So you really get a spiritual feeling when everybody is singing Amazing Grace together, or when the prayer is shared with everybody. And it is a wonderful, and that is part of the journey. That is part of our journey in elder care, is to take care of these individuals at all times. Part of this chapter of their lives has to be about, the joy, but also about the saying goodbye in a proper, loving, caring way. And it is a beautiful testament to the love for the residents.
Sounds meaningful for many people. We have a comment from Nicole in the chat box here about just saying such a beautiful celebration to be a part of, and how thankful the families are for the love and support. Do you guys know Nicole? We showed them at that time.
I don't know that.
Can't tell.
Great. There may be somebody else, maybe another community that does something like this. I've seen a smaller community who had just less people that lived there and worked there, and they had made a quilt with all the care partners, the employee care partners' hands on it. They actually, I don't know what they used to dye the quilt or something like that. Nicole said she's at Creekside.
Okay.
She's at Creekside. So part of the Methodist retirement communities.
Yeah.
Actually,
Good
Creekside
job,
shout about the Eden Registry. Anyway, back to my story. But they put their hands on the quilt. I don't know how they dyed them or something like that. So then when the elder had passed away and was leaving, and they were doing the same kind of thing, they would put that quilt over the person's body, just signifying that we will lay hands on you. We've laid hands on you in life, and we will continue to care for you and lay our hands on you even in death. So yeah, absolutely beautiful. Thank you all. So Michael, I know you were going to talk a little bit more about how laughter is all over the place. And then Greg, I know you were going to kind of wrap it up and take us home. So what do you got?
All right. I think within our community, we started this adventure over a year ago, and I think in the Eden Alternative and to become an Eden Registry member, and we're very proud of that. And I see where we are going to continue to grow and engage each other and engage and help our other communities. But I think elder care is needs a lot of this type of love and joy and laughter and for the to move forward and continue to grow as future generations come together. And I'm very proud and I'm very thankful, Chris, that we've been a part of this. I really appreciate this opportunity today, but also we are very engaged, and it took a little time to get to this point, and we're very proud of it. But we're looking forward to continuing to grow and continue to take on new ideas and learn from others as well with the Eden Alternative.
I'm excited to continue to learn from you all. Mm-hmm. So thank you. Right back at you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chris, I'm going to tell a quick story. I promise I'll try to make this as fast as I can. About 6 weeks ago, we're at a leadership meeting. Jeff goes, "Hey, I was talking to a couple of the elders and they want to help us power wash." And I looked at, I remember like, what? Yeah. Oh yeah. A couple of the IL resident ladies, they want to help us power wash. And I remember I completely discounted it. I said, I'm not going to hand an 83-year-old woman a freaking power tool, and it's like, no, and then the pushback started like, well, Greg, we always quote the fact that, we work in their home and, and then, hey, if they were home, they'd be power washing. And then half the leadership team are going, I love power washing. Oh my gosh, it's so therapeutic. Like why are we still talking about this? And then Chris, you know what they did? They threw the Eden Alternative at me. They did. I couldn't believe it. They said, well, Greg, if we're going to be continue to talk about the principles of the Eden Alternative, this would bring them joy. This would bring them meaning. And I just sat there, and I realized, I said, man, if you're going to talk the talk of the journey of the Eden Alternative, you got to walk the walk. And I was having difficulty with it. I trust my team. And I said, okay, let me make a couple phone calls. Got the thumbs up. We did create a waiver. But those residents can happily power wash to their heart's content. And that is a conversation that would never have happened without the Eden Alternative having been here. So it's really neat to see how we've incorporated you into the culture of who we are. And I'm just thrilled to continue the journey to milestones 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I think it's a good story to say how we're working with you all.
Thank you, Greg. Julie, you look like you want to pop in and say something.
I do, because I was there. It was the best conversation ever, because the resident actually threw in Jeff's face. I was laughing the whole time. And she goes, "This is my home, isn't it?" And I said, "Huh, she got you." So it just shows that this is the topic that we talk about with our elders and our residents too. So it's not just a culture that we talk about in our stand-up meetings, our leadership meetings, and our huddles. This is something that we also talk about with our residents and have open conversations and dialogues with them as well.
Great. Wow. Just one last comment here again from Meredith. She just kind of says, welcome to the registry. We're just going to continue to learn from you. Keep telling your stories. They're infectious. And you guys sound like a great place to live and work. And we do have your website if anybody wants to check it out. We'll pop that up on the screen right now for you. So go to www.mrcthecrossings.org if you want to learn more. Also, I'll tell you their Facebook page is amazing. Go look at the hot cocoa train, and I can't tell you the Halloween pictures. I haven't even looked at them yet, but I can't wait. I'm going to go out there and look at them. So again, I thank you so much for being here today. I want to give you a chance. Anything last words, or are we good, Crossings?
I feel good.
I think we're good.
All right. Again, thank you. I can't thank you enough. I know you're thanking us, but I am right back at you, and I look forward to working with you in the future. And you got a great job, team. from Todd Parton.
Yes.
You know, Todd